In our daily life, we always use any form of energy. Now, what is energy? We can define energy in different ways. However, energy can be defined in a standard way as the power derived from the utilization of physical or chemical resources, especially to provide light and heat or to work machines. Energy comes in different ways and forms, such as wind, solar, or coming from the sun. They're coming also from the water, okay, from the current of the water. We also have coming from the wave, wood. We also have the nuclear, gas, coal, oil, wind power, okay, solar energy, hydropower, geothermal power, bioenergy. Two types of energy. What are these two major types of energy? We have renewable energy and then non-renewable energy. We say renewable energy is the energy generated from natural resources, while for non-renewable energy is whatever natural resources from the planet that exists restriction or limited quantity and cannot be replaced, which is already used up. Any natural resource that cannot be replenished by natural means at matching pace as it is utilized can be considered as non-renewable energy. For renewable energy, we have these coming from the natural resources, sunlight, wind, rain, tides, geothermal heat. Renewable energy technologies, these are the technologies that enable us to create electricity, heat, and fuel from renewable sources, such as solar, wind power, hydroelectricity, biomass, and biofuels for transportation. Non-renewable energy sources, we have oil, natural gas, coal, nuclear power. All right, so we have illustration of renewable energy and that of non-renewable energy. Effects of garbage and poor garbage disposal. Wrong disposals of trashes could cause many effects, especially in our environment as a whole, because it would eventually pollute our nature, especially air, land, and water. But the most affected are the living beings in the planet. For instance, we have humans and animals. Air pollution, a waste that emits hazardous chemicals such as bleach and acids that needs to be contained in approved containers to avoid from leaking. Soil contamination, this is the number one problem caused by improper waste removal because some waste that end up to landfills excrete hazardous chemicals that leak into the soil. Polluted water. Hazardous waste in the environment leads into the ground and finally into the groundwater. And because water is used for many things, such as watering the fields and drinking it, toxic liquid chemicals from waste can also seep into water streams and any bodies of water. Economic effects of poor waste management. We have the tourism of the community because a place that has a bad reputation of environment will never get to have many visits from foreigners who have plans to enjoy peaceful surroundings or at least unclean places would have much enticement as those places reputed to be clean because it is expected that humans are conscious to places they stay. Poor living standards because places that are unclean will really attract investors into putting up business there, and as a result, the people living there have an impoverished lives. Solution: we need to have proper waste disposal. Waste reduce, reuse, and recycle. Proper waste disposal. Okay, advantage of segregation there will be less garbage and avoidance of pest. Environmental effects of illegal logging. You have loss of biodiversity, right? So many animals living in the different forests will lose their shelter or habitat. In turn, this will cause uh, death for many of them. Endangered species for both plants and animals are at higher risk of extinction sometime in the future. The next generation will no longer witness and enjoy the beauty of some God's creation because they're already extinct. Climate change and pollution. The woodlands cool the air covering the surroundings, and when those trees disappear, airflow pattern will change and will bring a negative blow on the culture. There's also economic effects of illegal logging, Right? So low standard of living for the local native people. So the practice of unlawful logging and the use of explosives devastates the way of life of the local residents. There will also be loss of revenue in the form of taxes. Illegal loggers, of course, did not obtain proper permits and clearance from the government regulating body to perform such acts and therefore did not pay taxes. Environmental effects of illegal logging and dynamite fishing. We have destruction of coral reefs. Dynamited fishing, also known as blast fishing, is a very harmful method practiced by some fishermen to generate productive catch. The use of such explosives is a very destructive technique since it could cause extreme damage to coral reefs. Jeopardize marine species. The destruction of coral reefs results in increase in the number of endangered marine species because coral reefs serve as their habitat where they reproduce. Economic effects of illegal logging and dynamite fishing, livelihood and income. While the fishing is a provision to livelihood and income for some, the exercise of illegal fishing to supposedly make a big catch is only temporary. There will also be a food shortage. Fish and other seafood contribute to the food basket and is a good source of nutrition. More people will go hungry if there is a decrease in supply of fish and other seafood. Economic effects on the use of fertilizers, pesticides, and insecticides. Agricultural land as a means for providing food, though the use of such chemicals help boost the production of crops are badly needed to meet the demands of the ever-increasing population. And we're saying we should prohibit the use of such for agricultural purposes. Those using it should be knowledgeable about the right quantity, correct timing, and proper use. Human health, pesticides, and insecticides will contain chemicals that may be harmful for our health. Again, how little or how much of its use is considered safe. Standards have to be set in accordance to the scientific evidence presented in the various research works with reference to this matter to safeguard the health of our people. Environmental effects of smoke belching depletes the quality of the air. Okay, in an article published by Jerry A.S. Planada, stated Manila, Philippines, more than 500,000 diesel fuel jeepneys, buses, trucks, and other vehicles are responsible for the total soot or black carbon emissions of the Philippines, according to Climate Change Commissioners Harrison Alvarez. Major contributor to air pollution. In an article titled Smoke Belching is More Than Harmful, published as October 24, 2013, by Legitimist. Among 212 nations in the world, the Philippines is ranked 48 in terms of carbon emissions in the transportation sector. Air pollution in Metro Manila is dangerously high, and according to a recent study, 65% of the pollution comes from vehicle emissions. Economic effects of smoke belching, illness and premature death. One in 8 premature deaths from air pollution. Exposure to air pollutants is dust, smoke, acid fumes, most often produced by motor vehicles and other fuel burning facilities, result in various respiratory and cardiovascular problems. Economic impact. Okay, associating poor health due to the inhalation of these toxic fumes will not be good for any nation, as government will have to put more budget and pressures on health department to solve health-related problems. If people are sickly, definitely it is a hindrance to contributing to economic growth and development. Food additives are substances added to food to preserve flavor or enhance its taste, appearance, or other qualities. Functions of food additives: okay, preserving food, making food look more attractive, enriching food with certain nutrients, and improving the taste of food. Preserve or improve the nutritional value of the food to make up for those likely to be lacking in a particular diet or lost in processing. Modified necessary ingredients to or constituents for foods manufactured for consumers having special dietary needs, and facilitate modification of food products to offer novel and convenient foods. Control physical, chemical, and microbiological changes to preserve quality, palatability, wholesomeness, lessen waste, and reduce health hazards. Enhance the keeping quality or stability of food, or improve its sensory properties but not to deceive the consumer. Disadvantages of oil price hike. The many effect. There will be an increase in the price of food. Oil is somehow responsible in growing fertilizer and transportation of food. The cost of other goods and services increases. The expenses incurred in extraction of natural gas tends to rise as well, given that oil is utilized in natural gas drilling. High oil price affects business profitability. A number of businesses in different sectors may fold up due to losses when people stay away from the goods and services they offer to focus on the things that they deem to be more important. Oil price hike, advantage of oil price hike, option for alternative energy resource. Rising oil price opens discussions to look for options to combat such problems. Such options could lead towards looking at different angles to research and development that may eventually trigger positive response to discovering viable, clean, and cheap alternative. Changes in wearable patterns. When people are faced with rough times, they tend to be more flexible. Sacrifice is the name of the game. People will consume less of certain goods and services, assuming that demand for such commodities are relatively elastic. Natural gas, of course, deep beneath the Earth's surface, buried at greater depths compared to oil. It's one of the most abundant energy resources on the planet. We have methane. It's a gaseous fuel that is versatile, rich, and reasonably clean compared to coal and oil. Natural gas uses of energy, power plant and factories, residential areas, for cooking and business in the food industry like bakeries and restaurants. For cooking, in short, we have here coal, fuel, black hard rock used as soil of fossil fuel. It mixes about 40% of the world's carbon dioxide emissions from fuels considered fossil fuels, coal, crude oil, and natural gas. Nuclear energy, energy released during nuclear fusion, energy released when used to generate electricity. Remarkable potentials to do good. X-rays were normally used to examine factors, treatment of cancer through radiation. Nuclear energy is also used to develop atomic bomb and explosion, great harm to all living creatures, contaminate the soil, water, and air with radioactive materials. In 1951, the USA constructed the world's first electricity generating reactor. On December 1953, President Dwight D. Eisenhower and his Atomic for Peace speech honoring issues, safety, nuclear waste management, potential for radiation leakage, health effects, production of radioactive waste, material that can pollute the environment, including ecological food chain, possible threat to terrorism. The sunrise energy is actually useful to light our homes, power vehicles, cooks for food, runs machineries in plants and factories, warms and cools our homes. However, certain areas are constantly continued to deplete in terms of quality and quantity. Therefore, the use of natural resource should be of great help and is more beneficial.